Hi everybody, it's Erin Scott here. How are you doing? So I have a few videos coming to you in the next like 24 hours. One of them, this one here, we're going to talk about the energetics of Jupiter entering Pisces this year for about 2.5 months before it retrogrades back into Aquarius. And then at the very end of this year, Jupiter moves back into Pisces. So I want to talk to you about the energetics. That's this video. What we have happening today is the sun entering Gemini. It's going to be happening in a little bit, in about 5 hours or so from when I'm doing this recording for you. And then, of course, we have an eclipse happening next week, the 26th, Wednesday. It's a full moon, it's a super moon, and it's a total lunar eclipse. So I'm going to be doing a video on that as well. So let's take a look at the energetics for this particular 2.5 month process of Jupiter entering Pisces for this brief time frame and starting to activate what is to come in a portion of 2022. And when I say a portion of what's to come, what I'm talking about is the natural energetics that will be activated then. This requires, these processes that are activated require your participation to optimally use them for your growth process at any given moment. And there's some interesting things that I'm seeing here. Okay, so what we're doing here, of course, is we're putting Jupiter at the ascendant point. So we're looking at the energetics or the archetypal storyline, the narrative of this particular 2.5 month cycle. I think it's about the 28th. In fact, let me pull up my my ephemeris here. Let me give you the exact date. So everybody, Jupiter is going to be going retrograde on the 20th of June. Okay, so between the 13th of May and the 20th of June, we have Jupiter in Pisces going forward or appearing to go forward. And then it's going to be going retrograde on the 20th of June. And it's going to remain in Pisces until the end of July. Specifically, it's going to re-enter Aquarius on the 28th of July. So I want you to keep those dates in mind as we talk about this energetic, okay? Now, from the energies that are naturally activated here, we have new ideas, dreams, imaginings, visualizations about what we seek, maybe for our own spiritual alignment. And this is what's going to be activated now. The interesting thing is what we have correlated to this new, because Jupiter, keep in mind, is the original ruler. It's the ancient ruler of Pisces. So it's very comfortable here to expand the vision, right? And especially to expand your spiritual orientation or your spiritual functioning, the way your consciousness organizes and operates and the way you utilize your consciousness. There can be expansive processes, certainly expansive learnings and understandings too. Teachers, courses, but your own processes of meditation and going deep within, observing, becoming the witness of your mind, of your thoughts, of your story, of your soul structure. I mean, all of these things are indicated. But what we have correlated with this process that's activated is a lot of energetic in the third and the fourth houses. Now, Gemini is ruling this archetypal fourth house, and this is where Venus is, this is where the North Node is, it's where Mercury is, and it's where the moon is. And so let's start to talk about this location here. What we have is the mind, the value system, the trajectory forward, and again, the focus of the mind, which is ruling this point, this IC point, this fourth house. There is naturally a focus on what matters to you, pursuing a life of meaning for you. What is it that has value to you? What is it about your home, your property, your foundations that you are wanting to research, that you're wanting to plan, that you're wanting to take action on? This is of meaning for you. All of these placements of your value system and your mental focus and your arc of trajectory, along with the moon at a karmic 16 degree, there's a level of need here that you might be feeling over the next couple and a half months. A pressure to research things as it relates to home and property matters, as it relates for some of you with regards to family matters. So there's things that need to be attended to, planned, strategized, organized. There's a level of analysis and new learning, curiosity about diving into information that you are naturally seeking with regards to laying new foundations. What I get here is that this is about laying new foundations. And the interesting thing about that South Node up in the 10th house in Sagittarius is this is what needs to be uh, release. There's some level of belief that you have about what it means to be a success in this life. What does it mean? What stories that you hold? What constructs of truth do you believe is correct? What's your story about success? What's your story about failure? What's your story about your career? What's your story about your path that you've held for maybe your whole life? This is to be released. There's aspects that you must release because there's something about it that's simply no longer true or never was true. So there's an aspect of the flow of your belief structure as it relates to your life path, your career, and your ideations about success and failure that you're needing to let go because now it's about opening up to what the truth of your own desires are. What do you desire truly? For you specifically, not according to what humanity does or what the collective does or what the parents said was true or what teachers say is true. This is about you getting connected to yourself, to your own value system, to your own ethos, to your own trajectory and mastery path, to your own mind. What is it that matters to you? What is it that you're curious about developing with regards to your home and property? For example, what new communications, for some of you, what new communications, what new themes of communications want to happen with your family? How is it? What's the tone of voice? What's the theme of the topics that you're talking about with family? What is it that needs to be evolved here with regards to how you think about family members and how you speak to family members? How is it that you love and value family? How is it that you express love to family members? This is all part of the new expression or the new spiritual iteration of self that's wanting to come forward, right? Now, there's something else here that I want to show you, which is that throughout this year, as you know, we have Saturn squaring Uranus. This particular archetypal process for the next 2.5 months with Jupiter is implicating 12th and 3rd house square. Now, karmically, and kind of at the foundation of life's processes right now, there is a level of responsibility needed, but there's also a level of limits that you might be experiencing. The limits or the containments, the need to really be mature and disciplined and responsible with regards to your evolutionary process. In other words, life might be holding you back a bit about where your mind is going. 3rd house Uranus, the mind is thinking about evolution. The mind is thinking about what's next. And this is where the sun is. So you as a person are thinking about issues of money. This is in Taurus, okay? Sun, so we have Ceres, Uranus, Sun, Sedna, and Black Moon Lilith conjunct at 28 degrees Taurus. These are all in Taurus. These are all in the 3rd house, everybody, okay? And this 3rd house of the mind is ruled by Taurus, ruled by Venus. So this is about your ethic. It's about what you value. It's about money and stability and feeling like you have your needs met. So issues of your own self-worth, self-value, issues of money and stability are the mindset. It's part of the home, land, property, feeling safe and secure, having home, family, property handled, taken care of, and evolved. What's the new iteration? But here it's connected to money and having your needs met as well. You're going to value too communicating more. So over this next couple and a half months, there's this whole kind of orientation about wanting to evolve your evolve your mind. How is it that your mind is focusing its attention? You want to evolve that, whether you're aware of it or not. There's plenty of people in this world that operate in a very unawake manner by their default, and they're maybe not willing to evolve themselves. So trust me when I say many people are not going to be awake, aware, or utilizing this energetic, but many people are going to feel the truth of this, which is that there's a desire for the self to evolve, and this is a focus of the mind. You're wanting to evolve your life, your money, your safety, your security, utilizing money in a way that feels correct for your future. Okay, but what's happening is with the square, there is naturally some level of restraint that will be needed. Do you understand? So your thoughts are about, I want to evolve, I want freedom, I want to be, I want to have my own life, I want to be free to do what I want, I don't want to be constrained by anything, yet there are constraints. Yet there are boundaries. And this is what it is, and it is correct. So you have to honor it. So, what is it that's serving you from withholding or restraining some of the impetus, the ideas that come to you that say, I need to get out or I need to do that thing? This can create reactionary decision making. And if you aren't responsible for your own operating system, you might make decisions that are not in your best interest, or at least not optimal, right? Optimal, natural flow, easy, smooth, and for your best interest, a win-win-win for your own growth and evolutionary process. So yes, Uranus near the sun in that third house in Taurus it might instigate a reactionary decision and a communication that you might regret. So honor the restraints that are calling for reflection and review of the decisions for change and evolution and freedom that you're wanting to make that are connected to home, land, property, and family. Venus is ruling the mind, and the mind and Venus are both in this fourth house of home, property, family, and doing what matters to you. So, what matters to you and what you value is your freedom and your evolution. A lot of you are feeling a lot of, you're dreaming the dream and you're wanting to take action, but you have to honor that Saturn also is playing a role. Mature decision, a good reflection, discernment, discrimination, and thinking through what it is that you want to advance and what decisions that you want to make with regards to the evolution that's calling is in your benefit. So honor it. And how you honor it is you get still, you get quiet, you turn off distractions, you activate meditative processes here. Jupiter at this archetypal point, at the ascendant, is placing Saturn in the 12th house. For you to evolve and really optimally utilize these energetics, meditation is calling. That's for all of you. For you to evolve your consciousness, discipline is calling. You are needing to get still and quiet. You're needing to listen to your inner voice, to noticing and becoming the witness to the thoughts that come and go through your mind signature. You have to understand that you are not your thoughts, right? A lot of people believe their thoughts. They believe who they are in relation to the thoughts that they hear inside their head. Well, maybe, maybe not. This is a matter of becoming matured. Mature your consciousness. That's the process. And this next 2.5 months is giving us a taster of what we are all going to be going through naturally over the course of part of 2022. Okay. Pluto is in the 11th house here. There will be changes with your environment. There will be transformations with your community, the community that you live within. the environment or the context in which you live. Do you understand? Friend groups could change. You might need to sever certain friend groups. Now, one thing to understand is that during the course of this Jupiter 2.5 month process, Pluto is retrograde. So there's a rethinking of well, there could be a couple things activated. There could be a rethinking of friend groups that you previously severed, or rethinking what you thought was a completion with regards to a network or a group or a friends, a tribe, a community that you were a part of that maybe you thought was ended, but it's not. And so it comes back to life. It comes back for another scene in the play. That is a potential here. But there is some sort of a change with regards to your networks, your groups, your friends, your community, your environment, the community that you live within, etc. Okay? And this 26-degree Pluto is trining the sun. It's trining Sedna and Lilith. Now, Sedna and Lilith are both at 28 degrees. 28 degrees I have found similarly to the 29 degree. This is where there can be some level of tension or stress that we feel, that's activated within our consciousness, within our psyche. I have to let you all know that Sedna is the narrative, or is the, let's say, the archetypal function of fear and distrust. Now, there's other components to the broader function of Sedna, but Sedna does bring forward fear, and it does activate distrust. So for you, there's levels of not trusting your true worth or value of your mind, of your intellect, of your speaking capacity. For those of you who are teachers and or healers or communicators or networkers that are, let's say, starting your own business now, you're starting to go independent. There's levels of fear at play. With Lilith, there can be this aspect of you that's the empowered feminine, but it's the empowered feminine who experiences being denied, being rejected, being ignored. So there's a fear of being ignored. And what we have here in the mind signature is something quite large, because the self is evolving. There's a new value system of the self that's starting to feed or seed thought processes. The focus of the mind is all about your worth, but yet there's fear. So you're going to have to confront the fear. This is for each of you, right? Confront the fear of they won't see me, they won't love me, they won't accept me, they'll reject me. Okay, so what's that about? What does it mean when people reject you? That's what you're going to have to get to the truth to get to the truth to that. What is that for you? And for each of you, there's going to be nuances of difference. Ultimately, it all comes down to the same thing, I have to tell you, working with this for years and years. But this is something that you need to really excavate for yourself, because that will create self-sabotage. And if you're making decisions with your mind because you're all about freedom and you're wanting to change and you're wanting to evolve, and you're wanting to evolve issues with your money and your stability and your work and your skills, you have to understand that this Sedna Lilith can make it so that outside of your awareness, you make decisions based on fear, or you make decisions based on, what if they don't? I have to take action on something because they won't, or it won't be there, or it won't last. You have to understand, making decisions on fear is inherently misaligned. It's inherently misaligned with natural systems, the abundance of natural systems. The way life naturally works is abundant. There is no lack. So for example, I'm going to give you this example here. This third house and the fourth house are linked for this Jupiter process. A lot of you are dreaming the new dream with regards to all kinds of things. Your life, a life of harmony, a life of peace, the dream, building the dream, creating the dream, etc. And of course, here we have Neptune, which is the modern day ruler of Pisces, here in the first house. And, Neptune is here with Pallas Athena. So there's this imagining of the empowered self. right? So you're dreaming the new dream of self. You're dreaming the new dream as it relates to home and as it relates to money and stability and evolving and all kinds of things, right? Creating changes with your context, with your environment, with your group and friends and networks, etc. But you have to understand that part of the fear, the decision that can be prompted by fear, making an erratic decision based on fear, is linked to home and property for some of you. It's linked to home. You have to understand that part of the, let's say, the story, the business of selling homes, like right now, post COVID 2020 processes and still into 2021, with everything going on, you have to understand that the housing market, for example, is interestingly getting a massive boom because of many reasons. There's many reasons for it. One is that people are working from home and they're wanting to get out of the cities and move out to the country or whatever it is. There's multiple reasons for it. But you have to understand that this signature can look like making an erratic decision that may or may not be to your optimal benefit. So understand that thoughts around home, these are linked, and fear decisions based on home or safety and security or not having it. This is also activated. The other thing that we naturally have activated is Venus is conjunct the North Node. This can be extreme, emotionally attached decisions based on money, money as it relates to home and property, or money as it relates to the family. So some of you, this can be borrowing money from family members or people wanting, or family members wanting to borrow it from you, whatever it might be. But there can be extremity activated, and that extremity requires your evolution. It requires mindfulness. It requires meditation. Okay? I'm going to leave it there, everybody. The other thing that I'll mention is Mars is in Cancer. Again, this is about taking action in the fifth house, taking action on your own individuation process, taking action on behalf of your freedom and independence and your skills and the things that feel good, and really moving in the direction of your growth and individuation in this life. But it's based on what matters to you, and it's connected to home and property. So taking action for yourself based on home and property is indicated. So again, be mindful that Mars is squaring Chiron. So there can be this kind of feeling of lack. You as an individual, Aries, is ruling this second house of self-worth, money, stability. So there's something here about a little bit of a scar and insecurity, some sort of a wound that you're wanting to put time, energy, and effort into. Some of you are feeling a lack or a wound with regards to feeling stable and financially secure. And so the square to Mars could be you make an impulsive decision to try and fill what you perceive as a lack, and it may or may not be to your best benefit. If it's based on fear, and if it's based on, I don't trust the opportunity will still be there, so I'm going to make a rash decision on something, like buying something that's a big thing for you. Understand, everybody, I'm going to put the highlighter in the middle of the chart, so we'll complete. One thing that I want you all to understand is that apparently there's a lot of people buying properties without even seeing the properties. They're not having them inspected. They're buying them out of fear. And the fear is coming from the narrative of the collective process of humanity over the course of the last year and a half. So you have to understand that, are you buying into the fear? Are you trusting that life is abundant? There will be plenty of opportunities. Is there a breath needed? Is there more of a stable foundation of your consciousness calling to get activated in order to make the optimal evolutionary decision for your life path now? I would say yes. It's definitively activated. So please be mindful. I'm going to turn off my highlighter. What I would say is be very, very mindful over the course of the next 2.5 months with regards to holding both scenarios equally. Dream the dream. Dream the dream of of who you want to become, of the life that you wish to manifest and create, of the spiritual harmony, resonance, peace, and delight that you wish to build and create for yourself. Dream it, imagine it, visualize it. Utilize, for some of you too, utilize your vision boards. Utilize just holding the imagery. But where life will teach you is that then you need to release it. That's part of the paradox. Hold the dream, have that, but don't rely on it. There's no need to get disappointed if the dream, exactly as you hold it, doesn't come to pass, because the right thing does come to pass. The right thing for your growth process at any given moment does come to pass. That's simply the way life operates. So to hold it lightly and then release it. Release the need for it to show up in a certain time frame with a certain set of details. It's about um, holding the picture lightly and trusting that the right thing will manifest for you. And you're here to participate in that process. So, again, there's lots of research and strategy that is indicated both with the third house of the mind and the fourth house ruled by Gemini. So, a lot of like creating the life of meaning for you, fourth house, is on your mind. And creating the stability factor and utilizing money to the optimal benefit of you and your life path. That's also on the mind. It's a focus. So there's a lot of focused intention activated for all of us with regards to certain foundational things. Getting safe, getting secure, feeling like we have what our needs met. There's also this kind of other thing, and then I'll go ahead and close off the video. The other thing with Uranus in this third house, okay, as you're dreaming the dream, some of you might be surprised. Others of you won't be because you've been in this phase for a long while. But some of you during this process might be surprised at the level at which you wish to release or relinquish, purge, give away, donate, sell the things that you own, the possessions that you own. There is an evolution of stuff that's happening. It's part of your mindset. So clearing up clutter, purging the stuff that you're holding, the weight of the stuff that you're holding on to. A lot of you a lot of you are going to be feeling a desire to release, to get rid of stuff, to lighten your load, to not hold on to the past, because ultimately the stuff can indicate non-functional, processes, non-beautiful, non-functional. It's just a lot of crap that people hold on to. There is one last thing that I'll talk about, by the way. Okay. Now, let me put on my highlighter again. Okay. So there is something else here. Okay. With Uranus in the third house of short travel, this is traveling between cities, counties, maybe states. This could be somewhat local. This is more local travel or local trips. Okay. A lot of you are going to feel antsy about getting out of the house, about communicating with people you haven't seen in a while, about driving around. There's something here about driving around, investigating things, right? You might be driving around investigating property. You might be driving around investigating different things, right? Where is it that you want to raise your kids? This kind of thing. But yeah, there's a correlation too with the home area ruled by Gemini, which is the third house, which is short-term travel. Mercury, mercurial movements, fast-paced, driving around, driving in your car, driving in an RV. In the northern hemisphere, we're now entering soon. We're going to be entering into the summer time. Right now we're in spring. There's a lot of indication that your mind is very focused on, I need freedom, I need to go on the road. I'm going to buy an RV, I'm going to rent an RV, I'm going to live out of my vehicle. Cheap RV living, Bob, the movie Nomadland, it's all a big deal now. Now it's caught on to the collective psyche with this movie. Although, you know, I've been watching him for, my God, years, and probably a lot of you have too, right? So this whole thing about mobile living may or may not be correct for you. For example, for many years, I really did seriously consider a, a version of it, let's call it. For me, it's not correct. I've determined after years of considering it, I realized last year it was not correct for me. The interesting thing is Nomadland entered the theaters, right? So now it's hitting more people. And with jobs and money and COVID and all kinds of processes, people are now considering it. More people will do it. But what I urge all of you listening to my voice who are resonating with this, let's call it nomad living, nomad lifestyle, think about think about what's unfolding with humanity, think about the future, think about whether it's truly correct for you long term. Maybe it's a good, maybe you make a decision it's a perfect short-term venture. And maybe some of you will realize that actually it's not the lifestyle I want at all, right? So that's something that a lot of you will be thinking about. Freedom, travel, getting in the car, seeing different vistas, seeing different places. Yeah, definitely. Okay. All right, everybody. So I send you much love for your week. Now, for those of you that have not yet ordered your 2021 analysis, who are interested in understanding your own life path, looking at 3 distinct layers of your evolutionary processes that are activated now and through the rest of this year and beyond, actually. Uh, you can see the link below to order your 2021 analysis. I'm going to be putting it on sale. So by the time this video loads, I'm going to put a discount on it. And I would urge those of you really intrigued with understanding your processes of natural focused growth and evolutionary processes activated, that will give, it's comprehensive. So that will give you a lot to chew on. Okay. All right, everybody, I'm sending you much love for your week. Stay tuned for a follow-up video coming on Gemini's signature as it enters, the sun signature as it enters into Gemini. What are the signatures naturally activated for this next month ahead? All right. Much love. Bye-bye.